Everyone thought they knew Pastor Travis Greene, but the truth his wife just revealed will shock you. What she said behind closed doors changes everything we believed about him. Today, we're diving deep into the story no one saw coming. Pastor Travis Greene, a name known in millions of homes, has always been seen as a spiritual leader, a man of faith, and a role model. But behind the public image, his wife has finally spoken out, revealing details that will leave you questioning everything. In this video, you'll hear exactly what she exposed, the moments that led to her breaking silence, and the shocking implications for his ministry and personal life. And this is where it gets surprising. Some of the claims are not just controversial, they could change how people see him forever. For years, Pastor Travis Greene has been seen as a figure of inspiration. His sermons, albums, and public appearances have touched millions, portraying him as a devoted husband, loving father, and spiritual guide. Fans admired not just his music, but his seemingly perfect family life. Social media was flooded with pictures of smiles, family gatherings, and messages of faith, a picture-perfect life. But according to sources close to the family, the reality behind the scenes was far from what the public saw. His wife, after years of keeping silent, has finally decided to speak out. She claims that the image he presented to the world didn't match what was happening at home. Tension, unspoken arguments, and personal struggles reportedly shaped their private life, a side that very few ever witnessed. This is where it starts to get complicated. While fans praised his sermons and celebrated his success, there were whispers behind-the-scenes moments when his wife felt unheard, unsupported, and, according to her, even manipulated. But why did she wait so long to reveal this? What finally pushed her to break her silence? That's the part that will surprise you. Every story has a turning point, a moment where everything changes, and for Pastor Travis Greene and his wife, that moment had been quietly building for years. According to her statements, the breaking point came after repeated incidents that she could no longer ignore. She describes feeling isolated, unheard, and even emotionally manipulated within the marriage. It wasn't a single event, but a pattern. Long nights filled with arguments that never got resolved, promises made and broken, and a growing sense that the man the world celebrated wasn't the man she knew behind closed doors. She reportedly struggled with seeing him on stage, preaching about integrity, love, and faith, while feeling that those principles were absent in their home. But what finally pushed her over the edge? She revealed that certain private choices that affected not just her, but the family were made without her input. She felt powerless and unseen, and the stress began to affect her mental and emotional well-being. According to her, she tried for years to make things work quietly, hoping that love, patience, and faith would restore balance. But silence only allowed the tension to grow. Here's where it gets shocking. She claims there were moments when she questioned whether the life she had committed to was real or just a carefully crafted illusion for public consumption. And after years of silence, she decided that enough was enough. Her decision to speak out was not just personal, it was a message to the millions who looked up to him, urging transparency and accountability, even from those we consider spiritual leaders. This revelation sent shockwaves through his ministry, leaving followers asking questions they never thought they would. How could the man who sang about hope and faith struggle so much in his own household? And this is only the beginning. The claims she's making go deeper and touch the very foundation of trust, fame, and faith in the public eye. This is the part that truly shocked everyone, the details that Pastor Travis Greene's wife finally revealed. After years of silence, she spoke openly about behaviors and patterns that completely contradicted the image fans had of him. First, she claimed that there were repeated instances where promises of honesty and openness were broken. In public, he preached about transparency and accountability, but behind closed doors, she alleges that many decisions were made without her knowledge or consent. This included financial choices, family matters, and even aspects of their personal life that were supposed to remain sacred. Then came the emotional strain. She explained that she often felt unsupported, isolated, and dismissed whenever she tried to voice concerns. According to her, conversations that should have been intimate and understanding were replaced with avoidance or excuses. The disconnect between his public persona, a man of faith, a loving husband, a spiritual guide, and the private reality created a growing chasm of frustration, doubt, and pain. Perhaps the most shocking claim relates to trust. She described moments where she questioned his integrity and whether his actions aligned with the values he preached. For someone whose life is built around guiding others, she felt that the lack of accountability in private life was deeply troubling. And here's the twist. Some of the behaviors she revealed were not widely known, yet they hint at patterns that fans would find deeply concerning. But she didn't stop there. She also spoke about how his fame, influence, and ministry responsibilities added pressure to their relationship. Every public event, every performance, and every sermon created a barrier between them, making it harder for her voice to be heard. In her eyes, the world loved him, celebrated him, and trusted him, yet she lived a very different reality. And just when it seemed like it couldn't get any more intense, she revealed that her decision to finally speak out was motivated not only by her own struggle, but by a desire to protect others. She wanted people to know that appearances can be deceiving, that even those we place on pedestals can have private struggles, and that speaking up about truth and accountability is always necessary. This is where everything changes. These revelations aren't just about a marriage, they touch on faith, trust, and the responsibility that comes with being a public figure. Millions of followers are now questioning what they thought they knew, and the story is far from over. Once Pastor Travis Greene's wife went public with her revelations, the reaction was immediate and explosive. Social media erupted with shock, disbelief, and debate. Fans, who had long admired him as a spiritual leader and role model, suddenly found themselves questioning everything they thought they knew. Comments flooded Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, some expressing support for his wife, others defending the pastor, and many struggling to reconcile the man they loved with the claims being made. News outlets began reporting on the situation, dissecting every detail and interviewing insiders close to the family. The story became a trending topic not just in gospel communities, but across mainstream media, as people tried to understand the implications. Headlines focused on the tension between his public image and private life, and the narrative quickly shifted from admiration to scrutiny. But the fallout didn't stop online. Within the ministry itself, tensions reportedly rose. Staff and close associates were forced to navigate an environment filled with speculation, questions, and uncertainty. Some expressed disappointment, others confusion, and a few chose to distance themselves entirely. The controversy sparked important discussions about accountability and leadership and the pressures of maintaining a public persona while managing private struggles. Fans and critics alike began dissecting his past sermons, interviews, and public statements for signs they might have missed. Suddenly, small inconsistencies or moments that seemed insignificant gained new meaning under the lens of this revelation. Social media users started connecting dots and speculating on what had really happened behind closed doors, fueling rumors, discussions, and debates that continue to this day. The emotional impact on both the pastor and his family cannot be overstated. According to insiders, the tension and stress caused by the public exposure have created a complicated environment where trust, relationships, and reputations are all at stake. Followers now find themselves asking difficult questions. How much of what we see is real? Can a spiritual leader struggle in ways that contradict his teachings? And most importantly, what does accountability really look like when it comes to faith, fame, and family? This is also where the suspense builds even more. Some of the claims are only the tip of the iceberg, suggesting there are layers yet to be revealed, moments and details that could shift public perception even further. And while supporters and critics clash online, the story continues to unfold, showing that even those we place on pedestals are human, flawed, and capable of mistakes. The fallout illustrates a universal truth. Public figures, no matter how admired, live lives that can be far more complicated than what we see on stage or screen. And for Pastor Travis Greene and his wife, this chapter is just the beginning of a conversation about honesty, transparency, and the cost of fame. As the dust begins to settle from the shock of these revelations, there's an important question we all need to ask. What can we learn from this story? Beyond the controversy and the headlines, there are deeper lessons about trust, accountability, and the human side of public figures. First, it reminds us that appearances can be deceiving. For years, Pastor Travis Greene was seen as a symbol of faith, integrity, and family devotion. Fans admired his energy, his sermons, and the love he projected online. But his wife's revelations show that the reality behind the scenes can be very different. This isn't just about one person, it's a cautionary tale for anyone who assumes that public image is the full story. Second, it highlights the importance of communication and honesty in relationships. According to his wife, many of the struggles in their marriage could have been addressed if there had been openness and understanding. Silence, avoidance, and unspoken frustrations allowed tension to grow. Her decision to speak out teaches us that bottling up concerns often leads to long-term pain, and that addressing problems early is critical for maintaining trust and respect. Third, it forces us to reflect on accountability, especially for public figures. Leaders, whether spiritual, political, or social, have a responsibility to live in alignment with the principles they preach. When there's a gap between public persona and private behavior, it erodes trust, not only in the individual, but in the institutions they represent. The story of Pastor Travis Greene serves as a reminder that accountability isn't optional, and transparency matters more than ever in a world where fans and followers pay close attention. Lastly, it's a lesson in courage. Speaking out against someone admired and powerful takes immense strength. His wife's willingness to reveal the truth, despite the backlash, demonstrates the importance of advocating for oneself and prioritizing personal well-being. It's a powerful reminder that even in faith-based communities, the human experience struggles, mistakes, and personal growth should be acknowledged and respected. And here's the reflective moment that hits hardest. This story is bigger than a scandal. It's about understanding that everyone, even those we idolize, faces challenges. It's about learning to look beyond appearances, to value honesty, and to recognize the complexity of human relationships. As we step back from the controversy, the takeaway is clear. Transparency, accountability, and courage are vital in every area of life. The story of Pastor Travis Greene and his wife challenges us to think critically, to question assumptions, and to appreciate the often unseen realities behind public success. And while the conversation around this revelation continues, the lessons are timeless, applicable to anyone navigating relationships, leadership, or personal integrity. The story of Pastor Travis Greene and his wife is a reminder that no one, no matter how admired or celebrated, is immune to human struggles. For years, millions of fans saw a picture-perfect life, a spiritual leader devoted to faith, family, and community. But the truth, as revealed by his wife, shows a much more complicated reality, one filled with challenges, missteps, and unspoken struggles behind closed doors. This isn't just a story about controversy or scandal. It's about the fragile balance between public persona and private life. It's about the cost of fame and influence, and the pressure it puts on relationships that are meant to be sacred. Most importantly, it's about courage, the courage it takes to speak the truth, even when doing so could shake the very foundation of a life built in the spotlight. For fans, followers, and anyone watching, this story offers critical lessons. It encourages us to question assumptions, to look deeper than appearances, and to value transparency and accountability. It reminds us that relationships require communication, honesty, and respect, no matter how public or private they are. And it shows that even when someone falls short of the image we have of them, there are lessons to be learned and reflections to be made. As the story continues to unfold, one thing is clear. The conversation sparked by these revelations isn't just about Pastor Travis Greene, it's about understanding truth, integrity, and the complexities of human life. And it challenges each of us to consider how we respond when someone we admire falters. If this story has shocked you, surprised you, or made you think, make sure to stay part of the conversation. Like this video, comment with your thoughts on the situation, share it with others who need to hear the full story, and subscribe so you don't miss updates as this story develops. And if you want more videos exploring the hidden sides of public figures, stay tuned, there's so much more to uncover. The truth isn't always easy to hear, but it's always worth knowing.